teacher with her curbstone English, the English that'll keep her in the gutter till the end of her days. Well, sir, in 6 months I could pass her off as a duchess at an embassy ball. I could even get her a job as a lady's maid or a shop assistant, which requires better English.
Ew, what's that you say?
Yes, you squashed cabbage leaf. You disgrace to the noble architecture of these columns. You incarnate insult to the English language. I could pass you off as the Queen of Sheba.
Hi, I'm Samantha Van Pelt, and today I will be discussing the classic 1964 musical, My Fair Lady, as viewed through the Marxist lens. The winner of 8 Academy Awards in 1964, including Best Picture, the film version of the classic Broadway musical, My Fair Lady, is, most obviously, a commentary on what Rex Harrison's Professor Henry Higgins calls the verbal class distinction. However, it is far more than that. Aside from discussing how language separates the classes, the musical questions whether the social ladder can be climbed at all, and if speech is an effective way to bridge and maybe even close the disparity between the world's lowest and highest socioeconomic classes. The Marxist lens is founded on the belief that a person's socioeconomic position affects their life and the way they experience the world. The overarching question of the work and who benefits from it is one of the most important facets of this lens, as well as how the lower class are repressed and if they eventually rise above the suppression. The changes that occur in society and throughout history, this lens says, are brought around by the lowest class revolting and overthrowing the other classes in order to establish a new order called socialism, in which everyone owns everything. Though there is no violent revolution in Warner Brothers' 1964 classic, there is a revolution all the same. It takes place in the journey Eliza Doolittle takes from the common flower girl to the fair lady the musical is named for. The film was largely from the perspective of flower girl Eliza Doolittle, portrayed by Audrey Hepburn. A member of London's lowest class, Eliza spends her days selling flowers in Covent Garden, supporting her equally low father and hoping to make enough to live by. Her dream is to one day work in a flower shop instead of the streets, but she discovers that to be impossible, as to do so she must speak more genteel, and her rough accent and dialect easily distinguish her as a member of the lower class.
Look where you're going, dear, look where you're going.
Henry Higgins, a high-class phonetics professor, comes to London to meet Colonel Pickering, a man who loves language as much as he. While waiting, he jots down the words he hears Eliza speak. He is instantly appalled and disgusted by her poor speech capability.
A woman who utters such disgusting and depressing noises has no right to be anywhere, no right to live. Remember that you're a human being with a soul and the divine gift of articulate speech. That your native language is the language of Shakespeare and Milton and the Bible. Don't sit there crooning like a bilious pigeon.
Ow!
When he loudly and arrogantly announces that he could take a squashed cabbage leaf like her and pass her off as a duchess, Eliza, interest piqued, immediately sets out to take him up on this offer.
Now you know, don't you? I'm come to have lessons, I am, and to pay for them too, make no mistake.
And what do you expect me to say?
Higgins agrees to teach Eliza to speak properly on a bet put to him by Pickering, who will pay for the lessons himself. The decision made, he immediately takes Eliza into his home and puts her to work relearning the English language over the next 6 months. When Higgins decides Eliza has learned enough for a test run, he takes her to the horse races. While the upper class dress in stuffy black and white, Eliza's hat is admonished with bright red flowers, a small symbol of the separation that still exists between her and the other race attendants. In the sea of prim and properness, Eliza tries out her new speech skills, telling stories and dropping words and phrases the high-class attendees have never heard, such as done in. They laugh and marvel at her, and Higgins manages to convince them that her speech is simply the new small talk.
Somebody pinched it. And what I say is, them as pinched it, done her in.
Done her in? Done her in, did you say?
Whatever does it mean?
Well, that's the new small talk. To do somebody in means to kill them.
Dear me. Yeah. What are you sniggering at?
It's the new small talk. You do it so awfully well.
Well, if I was doing it proper, what was you sniggering at? Have I said anything I oughtn't?
Everything seems to be going relatively well until the races start, and, to Higgins and Pickering's dismay, Eliza reverts to her old ways.
Come on, Dover. Come on, Dover.
Discouraged by the spectacle Eliza creates at the races, Pickering tells Higgins that he should drop the bet. With only 6 weeks till the embassy ball, Eliza's ultimate and final test, he believes Higgins cannot, after all, do what he swore he could. But Eliza has worked hard for this moment, and when they attend the ball, she is not only noticed by the Queen, but is believed to be a Hungarian princess.
Charming, quite charming.
Let's do a little, man.
He has finally been accepted into the upper class. Higgins' work is finished, and he has proved to himself, to Pickering, and to the high-class world that it is indeed possible to take a human being and change her into a different human being by creating a new speech for her. However, while Higgins and Pickering are busy celebrating their victory, Eliza's victory, the conquering of her native tongue, and the acquiring of an entirely new set of speaking skills, is completely overlooked.
Oh, nothing wrong with you. I won your bet for you, haven't I? That's enough for you. I don't matter, I suppose.
You won my bet, you presumptuous insect. I won it. What did you throw those slippers at me for?
Angered at the easy dismissal of her success, Eliza runs away, convinced that she no longer needs Higgins now that she has made herself into a proper lady. The journey Eliza goes on is a revolution in and of itself. No blood is shed and no weapons are sharpened, but Eliza frees herself from the position her native speech had kept her locked in for the entirety of her life. Over the course of a short 6 months, she goes from squash cabbage leaf to English rose, from gutter snipe to fair lady. She completes the work and is better off for it. But still Eliza is unhappy. She has gained perfect speech and high standing, but she has lost herself in the process.
Become of me, what to become of me?
How the devil do I know what's to become of you? What does it matter what becomes of you?
You don't care. I know you don't care. You wouldn't care if I was dead. I'm nothing to you, not as much as them slippers.
Those slippers!
Those slippers!
Though she has won the revolution over herself and become visible to those who once overlooked her, she has become invisible to the people who were beside her when she was in the trenches. She has overcome one form of oppression, her speech, and has been instantly met with another, displacement.
Yes?
Oh, excuse me, miss. For a second I thought you were somebody else.
Oh,
Forgive me, ma'am. Early morning light playing tricks with my eyes.
In her quest to find new standing, she has lost her connections to her former way of life. She no longer fits in Covent Garden, and realizing that she still does need Higgins, she returns to him. There, she realizes, is where she can truly be herself, where she is treated the same way Higgins treats everyone else, regardless of her new dialect. And that is the main goal of any revolution, to be treated equally, no matter position, standing, or place.
Almost irresistible. She's so deliciously low. So horribly dirty. I'll take it. I'll make a duchess of this draggle-tailed gutter snipe.
I'll wash my face and hands.